A lot's been going on since the last time you've been on the show here.
Yeah,
You are working on you do something called Drag Heels, a
that's
show,
right.
a popular show right now, right?
That's right. Yeah, Drake is.
Talk to us a little bit about that. How did that come to be? Season three, right? It's out right now.
That's right. Yeah. I was contacted to be on the show. And at the time, I didn't know too much about it. I did know that it existed, of course. It's a show all about drag queens within Canada. And I thought, you know what? I think this is an opportunity to show a whole new side of Alice Starr. And so now it's premiering. It's in, I think it's the seventh week right now. Seventh episode is aired. And it's been a fantastic ride from start to finish.
So you were aware of the show before it happened, before you got cast on it. So they reached out to you.
That's right.
They reached out to you. Well, what was it about you that attracted you to them? Did they say?
Yeah, I mean, I think my story really, being Canada's first and only drag queen pro wrestler, there's something to be said about that, and there are stories to be told, and I do that every single time I step into the ring. But now, the drag world is getting something that's totally different within they're getting the wrestling side of the entertainment industry, just the same way that I brought drag into wrestling, so to speak.
It's interesting. It's funny because it's your person that walks two different worlds, right? And in wrestling, right? Everyone's a wrestler there, but there's hardly any drag queens in it, so it's like you
Yeah.
stand out in that way. But then in the drag world, I take it there's not many wrestlers in that world, so you stand out in that way. So it's pretty funny. So you got a chance. I understand you got a chance to wrestle on the show.
That's right. Yeah, not to give too many spoilers away since it hasn't aired yet.
Uh oh. Yeah,
But
let's be as vague as possible then.
Yeah, no, no, no. I mean, I don't think I signed an NDA that I can't talk about it, but
There it
for
is.
everybody's sake, yeah, I got the opportunity to wrestle within the sold out theater, Buddies in Bad Times, in Toronto, and it was over 2 nights. Absolutely incredible. The place was electric. Not just for me, for everybody, all the performers. But I had a fantastic time and it turned out amazing. Let's just say I don't end the match on my back, um, or submitting.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So I think I'll come out on top on this one, but I think it's a wild ride, and everybody's going to have they're going to get a whole new respect for drag, and I think on the other side, yeah, whole new respect for the wrestling community.
So last time we talked about, you being a drag star in wrestling, right? And basically how the wrestling promotions kind of react to that. How does the drag community react to you as a wrestler?
I think it's met with a lot of enthusiasm. The idea is a whole lot easier for drag queens to digest because there's inherently, although, like, when you boil it down, there's a political element, there's also such a fun element to it where people don't take themselves too seriously, or at least most people don't. And there is a bit of that in the wrestling world, of course. It's filled with some crazy characters, but some people don't quite understand what I'm trying to do. But in the drag world, it's unique to say the least. But to everybody, I think it's something that is admirable because it's something new, something fresh. Just the way that I admire people that are trying to do different things within whatever realm they're in.
Did you turn any of them into fans?
You know what? I think so. I don't know. At the shows, I think I had a lot of people coming up to me afterwards saying that, like, wow, that was so much fun. Or, hey, I've been to wrestling once. I went to Greektown, or I went to wherever it was, and I had an amazing time, and this brought me back. It's wonderful to not only help people bring back memories of their childhood or whatever it may be, but to create new memories and hopefully turn some people into wrestling fans at the same time.
I mean, isn't that the goal at the end of the day, right?
That's
To
it.
turn the non-believers into believers. I think it's it's always fun to see, a person like, oh, you do that fake stuff, wrestling, but then like you so slowly get them to be a fan, and that's pretty cool to see. It's like, I got one.
Yeah, for sure. And that word obviously is thrown around a lot, but there's nothing fake, first of all, about being 6 feet in the air and being body slammed.
Absolutely
Nothing
not.
fake about that. But alternatively, on the other side of what wrestling is, the stories that I'm telling out there are truthful. This is my life. They're coming from my soul, and so there's nothing fake about what I'm trying to say to people. And of course, that's the common term people use. But listen, everything that I say, everything that I do, is 100% honest and transparent, and me and Alistar.
So speaking about, your personal story, you know, I think there's a stark difference actually this time around, you interviewing from the last time, because last time you're in your full
That's right.
drag attire, and here you are without it. And but seeing you in the social media world, like, opening yourself up more as a person, talk to me about that decision right there, because I can imagine, especially when a wrestler kind of like drops kayfabe, if you will, but like, this goes to a deeper meaning.
Yeah.
What was the thought process behind that, and and how do you feel about it?
Yeah, no, I did cover my face, and I always thought nobody's going to care about Tyler. They only care about Alice. And throughout this process, being on the Drag Hills process, being in front of the camera, and knowing that this is going to be going out to, God knows how many people who are going to be watching this around the world. It's accessible internationally. Um, it was part of my journey on the show was really discovering who Alice is, but who Tyler is, and it really came to the point where I went, it's the same thing. Like
Hmm.
Alice and Tyler are the same people, and I talk about the honesty in what I do, and that's really what came through in Drag Heels. And I figured, what, maybe this is a good opportunity to showcase. If I don't have the drag makeup on, then people can see that I'm a real person and what I'm saying is truthful. And then at the same time, when you come and see me wrestle, oh, I'm going to be head to toe drag, and it's a spectacle. So I really, really love the dichotomy of having both options.
No, that's incredible. Have you ever considered wrestling as Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be a completely different experience. Of course, it's hard to compete with the massive hair,
I
the
can only
huge outfits,
imagine.
and sparkly, and the crazy, crazy makeup that you can see from like 16 miles away. But there's a lot of freedom in not doing that as well. Making sure your eyelashes are still on is kind of a painful experience.
Right.
But maybe that's something that I will explore in the future, if I feel that like that's right for me in that moment.
I just feel like there's just so many layers there, of course, and I think that tends to be the best type of character work in wrestling, when there's just so many layers, and then when it's truthful as well.
Yeah.
For you definitely have a lot of depth as a person, hence therefore you could bring as a character to Alistar, which can transcend wrestling, if you will. You
I
know, you,
mean, that's I'm trying not to be uh, displaying my ego here, but in all honesty, Canada's first and only drag wrestler is amazing. But I'd really love to be, Alice Starr, the entertainer. I grew up playing music. I started playing music at 10 years old, and here I am, much older, and I've been playing music my whole life, and that's something I'd love to do. I've done some acting here and there. That's being a wrestler is absolutely fantastic, but you can't do that forever. Your body is going to break down, and we've seen it time and time again. And at the same time, creatively, there's a million things in wrestling that I've yet to do and I want to do. But that's not my only interest in life. But that's where I am right now. Wrestling is what I'm committed to, and being the best I can is really the number one goal.
Wrestlers talk about that quite a bit, and something so mainstream like the Bella twins, right, or the Garcia twins right now. Uh, they talked about that towards the end of their careers, and when they started Total Divas, then Total Bellas, and Bella Nation, and all every brand that came up with that. But I feel like reality TV, like Total Divas, totally opened a door for them to step into that world. Do you feel like Drag Heroes is doing that for you?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, yeah.
Like what then would be the next step for you? What's the next move that you ideally would like to make
After wrestling, or just immediately.
after this journey here with Drag Heroes? Like what's the next thing for you?
Well, I've already got some amazing opportunities lined up. Nothing to announce right now, but once I do, everybody will know about it. But yeah, it's a launching pad in a lot of ways, because personally, I was able to step outside my comfort zone, become vulnerable in ways that really are not weaknesses. It's become a strength. And I think people are latching onto that, which is amazing, because if they're able to understand that, then maybe it can change someone else, and help someone else. So ultimately, drag heels, I'm using it as an opportunity for people to understand what I do, and change maybe someone else's life through the process.
I think that's amazing. I think what you do, like the way you step into wrestling, right? It doesn't necessarily mean like you're just a wrestler and that's it. You see so many wrestlers that fall into that trap, unfortunately. But you're thinking a bigger picture here. You're thinking about a brand. Let's just call it what it is.
Sure.
And it seems like your goals and your dreams are bigger than just wrestling, bigger than winning championships, bigger than going to the main stage of WWE or AEW, or Impact or whatever it's a promotion here. It seems like you want more to transcend, to spread your message.
Yeah, that's entirely it. Listen, like working for the WWE, Impact, AEW, whatever else you can list off, that's absolutely fantastic. Being the champion at said promotion, that's absolutely fantastic. And that gives validity to what I do, and hence why I do want to be a champion. But more than anything, being a champion is not about the belt. It's about being a leader, and it's about having a moral compass in the things that you do, because belts come and go, but legacies are forever. And so that's something that I try to keep in mind is, what do I want my legacy to be? Do I want it to be, hey, they won X championship, or hey, they were a great community member, they were spreading great messages, changed people's life, the same way that I know people that I've been inspired by have changed mine, and that's all I'm trying to do is just pay it forward.
That's again incredible, especially in the environment that we live in today, because I feel like when the topic of drag gets brought up, it's controversial right now,
Sure.
unfortunately, especially in the United States. I don't know how it
Yeah.
is in Canada, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Not so much in Canada, but the United States for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you hear about it all the time with different laws being passed, et cetera, different talking points on whatever news channel you watch. And is that has that been a detriment for you? Like, have you had to deal with certain promotions where it's just like because of that, like it kind of holds you back? Did it even have conversations? Hey, can you tone it down or can you not? Like, has that ever come up at all?
I've had things here and there from promoters. Um, Normally, if I'm booked, they it's because they like what I do, and but even getting through the door can be difficult sometimes, because of exactly what we're talking about. It's such a controversial thing, even in recent time, for sure, with tons of bills trying to be passed throughout the United States. And Kane coming after me directly, clearly, so doesn't want me to wrestle in Tennessee.
That's
Um,
crazy.
but which is the realistic thing, if these laws are put into place, I may not be able to wrestle in certain states. That's just the fact. And so or maybe it's not even safe for me to do so.
Which is even
And
bigger deal. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
um, which just makes me remind myself why I do what I do. I'm not a martyr. I'm choosing to do what I do, but it's because I've always felt like an outcast throughout my life. And here we are, a drag queen pro wrestler, and drag's under fire in the United States. And that's a huge uh, market for me that I want to be able to wrestle in front of. And so it's super scary, but hey, it is what it is.
Oh, I have to say, speaking from the heart here, I truly admire that though. Like I think the easy way out would just be like, all right, well, like, I guess I'm just not going to do that. And, I'll still get to wrestle in the United States. But no, no, because that goes against everything who you are and what you
Yeah,
believe in. So
yeah.
you stay true to who you are, stay true to what you believe in, and, damn them, damn them for doing that. I don't want to work there anyway. Fine, screw it.
Well, yeah. Sorry to cut you off, but there's right and wrong in these situations, right?
Yeah.
And with these bills that are being passed, it's not a matter of opinion. It's not a matter of anything other than that. It's just right or wrong. And I don't have a say in a lot of ways because I can't go vote in the United States. But I can try my best while I'm over here on the Canadian side with platforms like this. And every time I step into the ring, showing that drag performers are not the enemy. They are not the enemy. I'm just there to entertain and inspire. And if people can't see that, then and they're going to be left behind. But I just got to keep doing what I do and stay focused on my mission.